Assalamu alaikum to the all Muslim Ummah. Today I am talking about when Allah closes one door, He opens something even better for you. There are moments in life when a door closes so suddenly, so painfully, that it leaves your heart confused and your mind searching for answers. You prayed for it, you worked for it, you believed it was meant for you, yet it slipped away. In those quiet moments of disappointment, it's easy to feel forgotten. But what if that closed door was not a rejection but a redirection? What if what you lost was never meant to harm you, but to protect you from something unseen? Understand this deeply. When Allah closes one door, it is never the end of your story. It is the beginning of something greater, something better, something your eyes cannot yet see, but your heart will soon understand. There are times in life when something you held onto so tightly suddenly slips away, and it leaves you standing there in silence, wondering what just happened. You replay the moments, the effort, the du'as you made, the hope you carried in your chest, and you ask yourself why. Why did this door close when everything in you believed it was meant to open? And in that moment, it doesn't feel like protection. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It even feels like heartbreak. But what we often fail to see is that not every closed door is a punishment, and not every unanswered prayer is a rejection. Sometimes it is a shield placed by Allah, quietly protecting you from something your eyes cannot yet perceive. Think about how limited our understanding is. We see only what is in front of us. We judge based on emotions, on timing, on what we think is good for us. But Allah sees the unseen. He knows what lies ahead on that path you were so desperate to walk through. He knows the pain it could have brought you, the harm it might have caused to your faith, your peace, your future. And out of His mercy, He closes that door. Not because He wants to deprive you, but because He wants to preserve you. There is a deep wisdom in this that many people only understand much later in life. At the moment of loss, it feels heavy. It feels like something has been taken from you. But with time, when you look back, you begin to connect the dots. You begin to see that if that door had opened, you might have been in a place far worse than where you are now. You realize that what you thought was the best for you was actually something that could have broken you. And suddenly, what once felt like a loss starts to feel like a hidden blessing. It's like a child who wants something harmful, but doesn't understand the danger. The child cries when it is taken away, not realizing that the one who took it away did so out of love and care. In the same way, we sometimes cry over things that Allah has removed from our lives, without realizing that He is protecting us from harm that we cannot see. Our knowledge is limited, but His knowledge is perfect. When a door closes, it also tests your trust. It asks you a silent question. Do you trust Allah even when you don't understand His plan? Do you believe that He is still taking care of you, even when things don't go your way? This is where faith becomes real. It's easy to trust when everything is going according to your desires. But true trust is when things fall apart and you still believe that there is goodness in what Allah has decreed. There is also a purification in these moments. Sometimes we become so attached to something that it begins to take a place in our hearts that belongs only to Allah. We rely on it, we find our happiness in it, and we forget the one who gave it to us. So when it is taken away, it redirects our hearts back to Him. It reminds us that everything we have is temporary, and that our ultimate reliance should always be on Allah alone. And there is another side to this that is often overlooked. Protection is not always about saving you from something obviously harmful. Sometimes it is about saving you from something that looks good but is not good for your soul. There are opportunities, relationships and paths that seem perfect on the surface, but they carry within them a slow damage that you may not notice until it's too late. Allah in His mercy removes you from them before they have the chance to affect you deeply. It is also important to understand that when a door closes, it does not mean that all doors are closed. It simply means that this one was not written for you. And sometimes we become so fixated on one door that we ignore all the other doors that Allah has placed around us. We keep staring at what we lost instead of looking at what is still ahead of us. But Allah does not close one door except that He opens another, often better, often more suited to who you are and who you are meant to become. The difficulty is that the new door does not always open immediately. There is a period of waiting, a period of uncertainty, where patience comes in. This is where you hold on to your faith and remind yourself that just because you cannot see the wisdom yet does not mean it is not there. Just because you cannot feel the benefit yet does not mean it does not exist. And during this waiting, something beautiful is happening within you. You are growing. You are becoming stronger, more aware, more connected to Allah. Your understanding is deepening. Your heart is learning to rely not on outcomes, but on the one who controls all outcomes. This growth is part of the protection as well, because it prepares you for what is to come. It shapes you into someone who is ready for the blessings that are on their way. So when that door closes and your heart feels heavy, remind yourself gently that this is not the end. It is a form of care that you may not fully understand yet. It is Allah choosing for you when you are trying to choose for yourself. It is Him guiding you away from something that was not meant to be part of your journey. And even though it hurts, even though it confuses you, there is a hidden mercy within it that will reveal itself in time. There is something deeply comforting yet incredibly powerful in knowing that whatever Allah has written for you will always find its way to you. No matter how many obstacles appear, no matter how many times things seem to fall apart, what is truly meant for you cannot be taken away. And what is not written for you, no matter how much you chase it, will never stay. This understanding changes the way you see everything. It changes how you react to delays, to disappointments, to the doors that refuse to open despite your efforts. We live in a world where we are constantly told that success is about control, about making things happen exactly the way we want. We plan, we push, we try to force outcomes, believing that if we just try harder, we can shape our destiny exactly as we imagine it. But there comes a point in life where you realize that no matter how much effort you put in, there are things that simply do not go your way. And it's in those moments that frustration begins to build. You start questioning yourself. You start wondering if you're not good enough, if you missed your chance, if something has gone wrong beyond repair. But what if nothing has gone wrong? What if what you are experiencing is not failure but divine direction? What if the path you are being kept away from is not yours, no matter how perfect it looked in your mind? Because the truth is, what Allah has written for you does not depend solely on your effort. Your effort matters, yes, but it is always within the boundaries of His decree. And when something is truly meant for you, it will come to you in ways you could never have imagined, at a time you could never have planned. Think about how many times in your life something unexpected happened that turned out to be exactly what you needed. You didn't plan for it, you didn't chase it, and yet it came to you. That is how what is written for you works. It finds you even if you feel lost. It reaches you even if the path seems unclear. Because Allah is in control of every detail, every moment, every turn your life takes. There is a beautiful ease in surrendering to this reality. It does not mean that you stop trying or that you become passive. It means that you do your best, you make your effort sincerely, but you do not attach your heart to the outcome in a way that breaks you if things don't go as planned. You understand that your responsibility is to strive, but the result belongs to Allah. And whatever result He gives you is exactly what is meant for you in that moment. Sometimes we exhaust ourselves chasing something that was never written for us. We keep knocking on a door that remains closed, thinking that if we just try one more time, it will finally open. But what we don't realize is that we are being redirected. We are being gently guided away from something that is not part of our story. And the more we resist that, the more difficult it becomes. Because we are trying to force something that Allah in His wisdom has already decided to withhold. At the same time, what is meant for you does not require you to destroy yourself in the process of getting it. It does not demand that you lose your peace, your dignity, or your connection with Allah. What is written for you will come with a sense of barakah, a sense of calm, even if it comes after hardship. There will be a feeling within your heart that this is right, that this is where you are meant to be. Not because it is perfect, but because it aligns with the path Allah has chosen for you. This belief also frees you from constant comparison. You stop looking at what others have and feeling like you are falling behind, because you understand that their path is different from yours. What is written for them will reach them, and what is written for you will reach you. You are not in a race with anyone. Journey that is uniquely yours, designed specifically for your growth, your tests, your blessings, and sometimes what is written for you comes after a delay that feels unbearable. You wonder why it is taking so long. You see others receiving what you have been praying for, and you begin to question the timing. But delay is not denial. Delay is often preparation. There are things that need to change within you, circumstances that need to align, lessons that need to be learned before what is written for you can fully enter your life in the best way. If everything came to you instantly, without any waiting, without any struggle, you might not be ready to appreciate it or to handle it properly. The waiting shapes you. It builds patience within you. It strengthens your reliance on Allah. It teaches you to find peace even in uncertainty. And when what is meant for you finally arrives, you receive it with a heart that is more grounded, more grateful, more aware. There is also a deep sense of security in this belief. You no longer fear missing out on what is meant for you. You no longer feel anxious about losing something that is truly yours, because you know that if it is written, nothing can prevent it from reaching you. No person, no circumstance, no delay can take it away. And if something leaves your life, then it was never meant to stay, no matter how much you wanted it. This does not mean that you will not feel sadness or disappointment. You are human and your heart will feel. But beneath those emotions, there is a quiet strength, a steady belief that keeps you grounded. A belief that says, what is mine will come to me, and what has passed me was never meant for me. And this belief allows you to move forward without carrying the heavy burden of regret. So you continue your journey. You keep making your effort. You keep turning to Allah in your prayers. But you do so with a heart that is at peace with whatever He chooses for you, because you know that His choices are always better than your own, even when you don't immediately understand them. And you trust that what is written for you is not just something you want, but something that is truly good for you in every way. There are certain moments in life when loss doesn't just touch the surface, it settles deep within your chest. It could be the loss of an opportunity you waited for, a relationship you believed would last, or a dream you built your hopes around. In those moments, patience is not something that comes easily. It feels heavy, almost impossible. Your heart asks questions your mind cannot answer, and everything within you wants immediate relief. But this is exactly where patience becomes more than just waiting. It becomes a reflection of your trust in Allah's plan. Patience is often misunderstood. Many people think it means doing nothing, just sitting quietly and accepting whatever happens without feeling anything. But that is not what patience truly is. Real patience is when your heart is aching, yet you choose not to let that pain turn into despair. It is when you continue to believe in Allah's wisdom even when your situation does not make sense to you. It is when you hold yourself together, not because you are unaffected, but because you trust that there is a greater purpose behind what you are going through. When something is taken away from you, the first reaction is usually resistance. You want things to go back to how they were. You keep thinking about what you could have done differently. You replay every detail, hoping to find a way to undo what has happened. But patience invites you to shift your perspective. It asks you to accept that what has occurred was never outside the knowledge or control of Allah. It reminds you that this moment, as painful as it is part of a plan that is far bigger than your current understanding. There is a quiet strength in accepting what you cannot change. Not a weakness, not a defeat, but a strength that comes from knowing that you are not alone in your struggle. Allah sees what you are going through. He knows the weight in your heart, the tears you hide, the thoughts that keep you awake at night. And when you choose patience, you are not ignoring your pain, you are placing it in the hands of the one who can bring meaning out of it. Patience during loss also protects your heart from breaking in ways that are difficult to repair. When people lose something valuable, they sometimes turn their pain into anger, into bitterness, even into questioning their faith. But patience acts as a shield. It keeps your connection with Allah intact. It allows you to feel the pain without letting it pull you away from your Creator. It reminds you that your hardship is not a sign of abandonment, but a test of your closeness to Him. It is important to understand that patience is not built overnight. It grows slowly, through moments of struggle, through small acts of trust. Every time you choose to say Alhamdulillah, even when your heart feels heavy, you are strengthening that patience. Every time you resist the urge to complain in a way that shows dissatisfaction with Allah's decree, you are nurturing that trust. It is a journey, one that shapes your character and deepens your faith. There is also a purification in patience. Loss has a way of revealing what truly matters to you. It shows you where your attachments lie, what you depend on, what you fear losing the most. And through patience, those attachments begin to realign. Your heart slowly learns to let go of what is temporary and to hold more firmly onto what is eternal. You begin to see that everything in this world is subject to change, but your relationship with Allah is the one constant that remains. Sometimes patience means allowing yourself to grieve but not losing hope. It means crying but still making dua. It means feeling the emptiness but still believing that Allah will fill it in a way that is best for you. It is not about suppressing your emotions, but about guiding them in a direction that keeps your faith alive. There are people who look strong on the outside, but inside they are struggling deeply. And yet they continue to show patience, not because their pain is less, but because their trust is greater. They understand that every hardship carries within it an opportunity to come closer to Allah. They see their trials not as punishments, but as moments of growth, as chances to strengthen their reliance on Him. And in ways that are often subtle, patience begins to change you. It softens your heart. It makes you more compassionate towards others who are going through their own struggles. It gives you a depth of understanding that cannot be gained through ease alone. It teaches you that strength is not in having everything go your way, but in holding on to your faith when things do not. When you practice patience during loss, you are making a powerful statement without even speaking. You are saying that you trust Allah's plan more than your own desires. You are saying that even though you do not see the full picture, you believe that it is being drawn perfectly. And that kind of trust is not unnoticed. It is valued, it is rewarded, and it brings a kind of peace that cannot be found in anything else. There is also a hidden beauty in knowing that no moment of patience goes unrewarded. Every tear that falls, every silent struggle, every moment where you choose faith over frustration, it is all seen by Allah. Nothing is wasted. Even if the world does not understand what you are going through, Allah understands completely. And He has a way of compensating you in ways that go beyond what you lost. Sometimes the reward for patience is not immediate. It does not always come in the form of replacing what you lost with something better right away. Sometimes it comes as an inner peace, a calmness that settles in your heart despite the storm around you. Sometimes it comes as clarity, as a deeper understanding of yourself and your purpose. And sometimes it comes much later, in ways that make you look back and realize that every moment of patience was preparing you for something greater. So you continue even when it is hard. You keep moving forward even when your steps feel heavy. You remind yourself that this moment will pass, that this pain will not last forever. And most importantly, you remind yourself that Allah is with you through it all, guiding you, supporting you, and shaping you into someone stronger, someone more connected, someone whose trust in Him is unshaken. There are moments in life when you become so certain about something that it almost feels like it must be right for you. You build dreams around it, you imagine your future with it, and you start to feel as though your happiness is tied to its outcome. It could be a person you deeply care about, an opportunity you work tirelessly for, or a path you believe would define your success. In your mind, it all makes sense. It feels perfect. And because it feels right to you, you begin to believe that it is right for you. But sometimes what you desire with such intensity is not what you truly need, and that is where the wisdom of Allah quietly unfolds. Human beings are naturally inclined to follow their desires. We are drawn to what feels good, what looks promising, what gives us a sense of excitement or security. But our desires are shaped by limited knowledge. We do not see the future. We do not know how things will unfold beyond what is immediately visible. Something can appear beautiful on the surface but carry consequences that we are completely unaware of. And because we cannot see those consequences, we continue to chase it, convinced that it will bring us peace. But Allah, in His infinite knowledge, sees what we cannot. He knows the outcomes of every path, the hidden realities behind every choice. He knows how certain things will affect your heart, your faith, your well-being. Out of His mercy, He sometimes withholds what you desire, not to make your life difficult, but to protect you from something that would not truly benefit you. This is a concept that is easy to understand in theory, but much harder to accept when you are emotionally attached to something. When you want something deeply and it does not happen, it can shake you. You begin to question everything. You wonder why your efforts were not enough, why your prayers seemed unanswered, why something that felt so right was taken away. And in those moments, it is very easy to assume that you have lost something valuable. But what if you have actually been saved from something harmful? What if what you see as a missed opportunity is actually a form of mercy that you cannot yet recognize? There is a difference between what we want and what we need, and that difference is often only known to Allah. We might want something because it satisfies our emotions, because it aligns with our plans, because it gives us a sense of control. But what we need is something that will bring us closer to Allah, something that will nurture our growth, something that will benefit us not just in this world, but in the hereafter as well. And sometimes what we want and what we need are not the same. This is why there are times when Allah redirects your life in ways that you did not expect. You may find yourself being turned away from something you were chasing, and it can feel like rejection. But in reality, it is guidance. It is Allah steering you towards something better, something more suitable for you, even if it does not match the image you had in your mind. And the challenge is to trust that guidance, even when it does not align with your desires. It is important to reflect on how many times in life people have pursued something they thought they wanted, only to realize later that it was not good for them. There are relationships that seem perfect in the beginning, but later brought pain and regret. There are opportunities that look promising but led to stress and dissatisfaction. There are paths that appeared successful but left a person feeling empty inside. These experiences remind us that our judgment is not always reliable, especially when it is influenced by strong emotions. And yet, when you are in the moment, it is difficult to see beyond what you feel. Your heart becomes attached, your mind becomes focused, and you start to believe that this one thing is essential for your happiness. That if you do not get it, something will always be missing. But this belief is not accurate. Your happiness is not dependent on a single outcome, a single person, or a single opportunity. Your happiness is rooted in your connection with Allah, and everything else is a means, not the source. When Allah removes something from your life or prevents it from entering your life, it is not leaving you empty. It is creating space for something better. But that better may not look the way you expect. It may come in a form that you did not consider. It may arrive at a time that feels delayed, and this is where trust becomes essential. Trusting that Allah knows what you need even when you are convinced about what you want. There is also a lesson in humility here. Accepting that your understanding is limited requires you to let go of the illusion that you have full control over your life. It requires you to admit that despite your planning, your effort, your desires, there is a greater wisdom at work. And when you embrace that, it brings a sense of relief. You no longer feel the need to force things to happen exactly as you want. You begin to allow life to unfold with the belief that Allah is guiding every step. This does not mean that your desires are wrong or that you should not pursue what you want. It means that you should hold your desires with an open hand, not a closed fist. You make your effort, you ask Allah for what you want, but you also ask Him to give you what is best for you, even if it is different from what you had in mind. And when things do not go your way, instead of breaking, you reflect. Instead of assuming loss, you consider the possibility of hidden Arabakalif, Arabaklam, 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 Arabakla that you cannot yet see. Over time, as you experience more of life, this understanding deepens. You begin to notice patterns. You see how certain things that did not work out actually led you to something better. You recognize how being turned away from one path opened doors you never imagined. And you start to develop a quiet confidence in Allah's plan. Not because everything goes the way you want, but because you trust that everything is unfolding in a way that is ultimately good for you. So when your heart feels strongly about something and it does not happen, remind yourself gently that your feelings, as real as they are, do not define what is best for you. There is a wisdom beyond your understanding, a plan beyond your imagination, and a care from Allah that goes deeper than your desires. And even though it may take time for your heart to accept it, there is peace in knowing that what you truly need will never be withheld from you, even if what you wanted is taken away. There are moments in life when something is taken away from you and it feels as though a part of your world has been shaken. You may not understand why it happened, especially when you had good intentions, when you worked hard, when you prayed sincerely for it. It leaves a space in your heart, a silence that makes you question what comes next. But what many people fail to realize is that when something is removed from your life, it is never without purpose. There is always something that follows, something that carries within it a greater Arabic alif, Arabic lam, Arabic lam, Arabic la, Arabic la, even if it does not arrive immediately. Human beings naturally focus on what they lose. When a door closes, our eyes remain fixed on that door. We replay the memories, the effort, the expectations we had tied to it. And because of that, we often miss the subtle ways in which Allah begins to open new paths for us. These new paths may not look like what we expected. They may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first. But within them lies growth, opportunity, and a form of goodness that is tailored specifically for you. It is important to understand that Allah does not take something away from you to leave you empty. He replaces, He redirects, He gives in ways that are far more suitable for your journey. But this replacement does not always come in the same form. Sometimes you lose a certain opportunity and in return you are given something that brings you more peace, even if it seems smaller on the surface. Sometimes you lose a connection with someone and Allah replaces it with a deeper connection with Him or with people who bring out a better version of you. There is also a timing in how these blessings arrive. We often want immediate replacement. We want to feel better right away, to see the benefit instantly. Allah's timing is perfect even when it feels delayed. There is a space between what you lose and what you gain, and that space is not empty. It is filled with preparation. It is where your heart is being shaped, where your understanding is being deepened, where your reliance on Allah is being strengthened. During this period, it is easy to feel uncertain. You may wonder if anything good is actually coming. You may feel like you are stuck, like you are waiting without direction. But even in that waiting, something is happening. Allah is aligning things in ways you cannot see. He is placing people, opportunities, and circumstances in your path that will eventually come together at the right moment. Think about how often in life something unexpected turned out to be better than what you originally planned. At the time, it did not make sense. It may have even felt like a step backwards. But later, when you look back, you realize that it was actually a step forward in disguise. This is how Allah's plan works. It unfolds in ways that are not always obvious in the moment but become clear with time. There is also a deeper meaning behind what is given after something is taken away. The better that Allah provides is not always about material success or visible achievements. Sometimes it is about inner peace. Sometimes it is about clarity. Sometimes it is about a stronger connection with your faith. These are forms of blessings that may not be immediately recognized, but they carry a value that goes far beyond what you initially lost. And when the new door finally opens, you begin to understand. You begin to see why the previous door had to close. You recognize that if things had gone the way you wanted, you might not have reached this place. You might not have grown in the way you did. You might not have discovered strengths within yourself that you never knew existed. What once felt like a loss begins to feel like a turning point. It is also important to remember that Allah's generosity is not limited. Just because something was taken away does not mean your share of goodness has been reduced. In fact, it often means that something greater is being prepared for you. Something that aligns better with who you are becoming, not just who you were at the time you wanted that previous thing. Your role in all of this is to remain open, to not let disappointment close your heart, to not let fear stop you from embracing new opportunities. Because sometimes after experiencing loss, people become hesitant. They become afraid to hope again, to try again. But faith teaches you to keep your heart open, to trust that what is coming is Arabic chet, Arabiket, Arabikra, even if you cannot see it yet. There is a beautiful balance between effort and trust. You continue to move forward, you continue to make your effort, but you do so with the understanding that the outcome is in Allah's hands. And whatever He chooses to give you will always be better for you than what you were trying to hold onto. So when something leaves your life, remind yourself that it is not the end of your story. It is a transition. It is a moment that is leading you towards something else, something that carries within it a greater purpose. Even if the path ahead is not clear, even if your heart still feels the weight of what you lost, there is a promise within this process. A promise that Allah does not deprive without replacing, that He does not close a door without opening another. And as you move forward, hold on to hope. A quiet, steady hope that does not depend on circumstances, but on your trust in Allah. Believe that what is coming will make sense one day. Believe that the Arabakalif, Arabaklam, Arabakte, Arabakra written for you is still on its way. And may Allah fill your heart with patience, ease your burdens, replace your losses with something far better, and guide you towards a future that brings you peace, strength, and endless blessings.